So this morning, Liz Cheney is responding to these dangerous and reckless comments from Donald Trump last night.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Liz Cheney this morning saying this, quote, in response, "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death." These are comments like that, the repeated talk of the enemy from within, that have marked Trump's entire presidency of late, candidacy of late. An NPR analysis found that Donald Trump has made more than 100 threats since 2022 to go after his perceived enemies. It's also the focus of a New York Times opinion piece by prominent conservative legal scholar, retired federal appeals court judge j.Micheal. He says this in the opinion piece: "There could be no higher duty of American citizens than to decisively repudiate a man who betrayed the nation when he was previously entrusted with the highest office in the land and now threatens the persecution of American citizens who have crossed him. In the almost 250 years since the founding of the nation, no president before Donald Trump has ever so betrayed America." Judge j.Micheal joins us now. Judge, thank you so much for being here. What Donald Trump said about
Thank you for having me on this morning, Kate.
Thank you, Judge. What Donald Trump said about Liz Cheney last night, his allies in the past have explained it away and likely will explain it away as he doesn't really mean what he's saying. What do you see as the danger when you hear him talk about his enemies like this?
Kate, those despicable words spoken by the Republican nominee for the presidency, who Americans will either elect or reject as the next president of the United States of America in just 5 days, were reprehensible. They were unprecedented. I cannot tell you how many emails and texts I received this morning that just said, "Oh my God." And the only reply to those messages I could think of, Kate, was, "Yes, oh my God." Every citizen of the country, especially Republicans, has an obligation to themselves and to America to watch the video from last night, as I did before coming on this morning, and ponder those un-American words by Donald Trump before they cast their votes on Tuesday. The nation is now on notice, if it was not already. If Americans return Donald Trump to the White House after those comments about our fellow American Liz Cheney, statements that Donald Trump would make about any one of his countless other enemies from within, those who voted for him will get what they deserve. Apropos of his reprehensible words last night, of course, 3 nights ago, Vice President Harris spoke the most powerful words that anyone running against Donald Trump could ever speak. She said, "I will give those who disagree with me a seat at the table." Those, Kate, are the words of a president of the United States. Those are the words that Americans, especially Republicans and independents, need to hear and desperately want to hear from their next president.
You said in your opinion piece, Judge, that this is not a difficult decision for voters. Why is it then such a close race, do you think?
It's beyond my comprehension at this point, Kate. I will say this. Long before last night's insidious comments, just talking about people, Kate, not politics, it has been beyond my comprehension how or why any woman in America would vote for Donald Trump, for all of the sordid reasons we all know all too well. By nominating Donald Trump as their standard bearer, I think the Republican Party has created the perfect storm for the election of the first woman president in America. And I fully expect that the women in America will elect Kamala Harris, that first woman president, this coming Tuesday. And Kate, if we ever needed a woman president, it is now. I know I would be proud for America to have a woman president in the person of the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
And Judge, I mean, you have long been a Republican. This has long been your party. You write very powerfully about what direction you think your party has taken and what has happened to your party in your opinion piece, and you have spoken about it. And there's also then, leaning on your expertise in law, the decision on presidential immunity then coming from the Supreme Court, giving presidents broad immunity from prosecution. How much does that decision influence your view on a second Trump presidency?
Well, it's not so much important of how it influences my view, but it ought to influence the American people's view of Donald Trump in particular. The decision by the Supreme Court essentially giving Donald Trump absolute immunity from prosecution for crimes that he did commit against the United States of America and may commit against the United States of America if he's elected President of the United States again, was itself a decision that for the first time in American history put the President of the United States of America above the law. No longer can it ever be said that in America, no person is above the law. The Supreme Court of the United States held that Donald Trump is above the law.
Judge Michael Ludig, thank you so much for coming on, Judge. I appreciate your time.